All right, ready?
Hold on 1 second.
Turn your phone off.
Notification. Let me turn that off.
Well, you can keep it on. Just make sure it doesn't start ringing.
Yeah, I never have the ringer on.
Like you're telling some heartwarming story about your tiki bar, and all of a sudden, like
just with our kid being it, like in case their parents are trying to reach us or something. But, yeah.
Your kids, we have to take your kid to the hospital. We're trying to get a hold of you. What were you doing? Like, well, I'm sorry, we're filming.
All right, give me 1 hour. We're almost done.
Hold on a second. We're almost done filming. Things can wait. Hi everyone, my name is Ray, or some of you might know me as Tiki with Ray, and today I am in Mount Lake Terrace. And the interesting thing about where we're at is, if you're familiar with Seattle in the Puget Sound, I-5 runs north and south. And most of Mount Lake Terrace is on the eastern side of I-5. And you guys are on the western side of it.
We are.
Yeah.
We didn't even know the western side existed. We thought it was just all Edmonds. But Edmonds is west of Aurora, a.k.a. Highway 99.
Yeah, so
for you out-of-towners that may be watching, I know my lovely wife here, whenever we watch a movie that is set here and they refer to I-5 as the 5...
You know they're from California.
Unacceptable.
I-5.
So you're west of I-5.
It's I-5.
Yeah.
So this is an episode of Home Tiki Life, and what's so funny? So you're going to scold people.
It's all right. We like to include a little geographical lesson.
So you're kind of planting a flag like, we don't like Californians up here. They keep on changing the name of our interstates.
We're amateur cartographers.
Yeah. So speaking of which, introduce yourselves to the audience out there. Your name and your name.
I'm Zach.
I'm Amanda.
And what is the name of your home tiki bar?
This is the Meka Leka Hideaway.
The Meka Leka Hideaway.
Which is, I don't know if you can...
I don't know if it's in the shot.
Probably can't see that.
It isn't. So.
Meka Leka. So it was our best guess at the spelling of the Pee-wee's Playhouse phrase Meka Leka Hi, Meka Hiney Ho, done in a Hawaiian spelling, which on the show it's supposed to be sort of a mixture of Yiddish and Polynesian.
Yeah.
It's a nonsense phrase they came up with, so it means nothing, but this means everything to us.
Yeah.
It's not a Pee Wee Herman themed bar, though.
No, I was gonna say I thought where's Jambi at? You know,
we do have a hidden, so a hideaway. There is a Pee Wee's Playhouse hidden away in the walls of this bar. I don't know if we're gonna show it in this video because it is sort of a special thing for actual in-person visitors. But hidden away, there is Pee Wee's Playhouse.
It's just going to give some people an excuse to come up and visit you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when did you guys start making your home tiki bar? You're kind of, because I remember, what was it, about a year ago I came up here for the first time, and I remember you're like, I finally got it done. It's ready to go. Come on up and see it. But when did you start working on this? What made you decide to turn? Well, what did this used to be? We're in your basement, but what did this used to be?
Nothing.
It was like a combination junk room, sewing space, and like Goodwill dump pile before we take it to the Goodwill.
Yeah.
Laundry, half of the laundry. The washing machine was in there and the dryer was in here.
Yeah.
We've stacked them and so they're both in there now. But it was an unfinished room. It was just painted over cement floor. The walls were like this mishmash of seemingly like whatever wood or wood adjacent panels they could come up with. So like pegboard in one spot, and it was not really real walls. And so we were just like, all right, doesn't really take very much to take this thing down to the studs. I mean, it took more than we were expecting.
It took somebody a little convincing.
I was very excited about just going. Everybody says, oh well, just having boards up on the wall is great for being able to hang all your decor. So I was like, maybe we just put the matting over what's already there. And my wife in her infinite wisdom was like, what's already there sucks. let's take it off, and I'll bet it sucks even more.
Well, there was carpet
Yeah.
handled wall.
Yeah, we pulled
Not
we
insulation.
pulled it down, and we saw stuff like rolled up, like probably moldy carpeting in one of the cavities. Is that what you call it between the studs? Yeah, stuff like that. It started like she got like a thermal imaging gun before we did it. It's like, all
From the
right,
tool library.
that looks bad, that looks bad, that looks bad, that looks very, very bad. What is that? And that's what it was.
Your original plan where you're like, we'll just hang everything in front of it. No one will notice.
Well, Ray,
as this like carpeting's rotting away behind there.
I mean, I'd been into Tiki for like 6 months by then. Why should I wait a minute longer before putting a bar together? No, it's really good that the process got slowed down. We definitely would have gone in some directions that aesthetically I would have wanted to redo later.
Yeah, well.
So slowing down between that and like permitting issues, like the only thing we didn't do ourselves was the electrical. And when we had an inspector come in to sign off on that, they're like, "Oh, see you have exposed the studs. You're putting in new insulation. You need a permit for that." And it took 2 months. It took like an hour less than the maximum amount of possible time they told me it could take to get the permit.
No, you need
even though they weren't real walls.
You need permits for like everything. In
Everything.
The city.
Really?
Yeah. Malik Terrace is very permit happy.
Well, how would anyone know that you're building anything in your basement?
Well, they knew because we had to get the electrical signed off on. We had a whole new circuit added. I didn't want to have any smart devices controlling this. I didn't want to walk downstairs and say, "Alexa, turn on my Tiki bar." So we got circuits that we have like 4 banks of 4 outlets in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And they're all of the lamps go into that, and they go to, and the sound, and it goes to just a wall switch that controls just that. And we didn't want to make it all smart. And that's good. Let's keep it timely. AWS was down completely for like a day and a half recently, and I was hearing about people's like smart beds stuck in vertical positions and temperature settings too hot. And a buddy of mine was like, "Yeah, I can't like control my lights." I was like, "Boy, am I glad my Tiki bar couldn't like look
talk
awful
about
if
a
it served
first
them."
world problem.
I know. So
My
I avoided all
heated
that.
bed won't cool off.
So we avoided all of that. But yeah.
So the thing that I found interesting about how you went about building your home bar is that, well, to build a Tiki bar, you need tools,
Oh yeah.
but you didn't have any tools.
I had some tools, but there's just a lot of. Yeah, I had a drill. Got screwdrivers.
Okay.
Got
Here you go, Amanda.
Crescent
Here's what I
wrenches.
got. We're gonna build this Tiki bar with a drill, a couple screwdrivers, and a.
There's just a lot of things that are specific to this. Like I didn't have any woodworking experience,
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I had to use an angle grinder to get all the paint off the cement.
Yeah.
Because you can't leave it there and put flooring down, or any moisture is gonna like make all that paint all gummy and weird, and it's gonna cause problems. Which she had done the research and informed me about. Again, I was like, "Are you sure we need to take that off? Can we just put down a floor? Wouldn't that be great?" No, it would not be great. So, we happened to have a tool library that opened up like within weeks of us starting the project.
So what's a tool library? Like, explain the.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like you go to your library, right?
I mean, it's like that, but it's not at the book
Okay.
library. It's a separate building, and it's volunteer run, and people donate tools to there, and you pay. In our case, it was an annual fee. It was like $60 to be able to come in and check out any tools that they had that we wanted, that we thought we could use. And because all of these projects were new to me, I was looking at Tiki Facebook groups and YouTube videos of people going through some of these processes. Sometimes it was Tiki specific, and sometimes it's just how to use this tool. And so there's a lot of instances where like, I don't know what's going to be the best tool for the job, or like the best tool for me for the job.
Yeah.
So I just go there and I'd check out like 3 or 4 different things and just see which one ended up being the right one for that. There's no way I could have afforded to just go to Home Depot and
No, it'd be
buy
insane.
4 power tools for every step
You
of the
saved
way.
us so much money.
It is incredible
Yeah.
how much money we saved. And the tool library was like, they got to know us. They were super psyched. They wanted pictures of the process. You know, when it was done enough to have people over, we like sent them some, and they like posted it on the website. Like, see what you can do if you join the tool library. It was really neat. And they also have,
Now, what's the name of that tool library?
that's
Like-
it was the Shoreline
The
tool
Shoreline
library.
and North Seattle.
Yeah, there's a
tool
North Seattle one
libraries
as well.
are,
And that's what it's called.
Connected.
Yep.
But yeah.
So how long did it take for you to build it?
It was 10 months before anybody came over.
Yeah.
And it was 10 months of like working on it every day, pretty
Yeah.
much. You know, working from home, I'd work on it during lunch, during breaks, after work while there was still light. You know, I usually would have like an inside project and an outside project being
Yeah.
worked on. She'd have regularly like big like wood staining projects going on in the garage.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like compartmentalizing, breaking down these large processes into individual components and tackling them
Yeah.
in parallel, and you know, talking with each other the whole way about ultimately what's the aesthetic vision for how we want this to go. And there's definitely like problem solving about how do we even do this. It took me so long to do the jade tile and bamboo
Yeah, it's killer.
room divider ladder thing. I saw people having those. I thought they were really, really cool. And I had all the components for months before I finally felt like I had a process figured out for how I was going to do it.
When you were building your home tiki bar, what was the idea? Like, what's going to be the theme?
We wanted to have it be World's Fair themed.
Yeah.
And because we're from here and our parents went to the World's Fair when it came out.
1962. What I love about home tiki bars is that it's the home bar owner can make it whatever they want, and I always love to see what other elements a person will put into their home bar. And what I love about yours is that you do combine that. I mean, you to have like the Seattle element in your tiki bar. You know, is there anything tiki about the World's Fair? Well, maybe not. But it works though.
Yeah,
there was like a Polynesian thing.
There was the Polynesia Pavilion.
Yeah.
I think there was a separate Hawaii Pavilion.
Yeah.
There
But
was that arch thing that you could walk into. It was like a mouth.
yeah, that was that. I think that. Yeah, that was I think Philippines
Yeah.
area.
Okay.
Yeah, with that big mouth that I saw like on Tiki Central. As we built it and read more about the fair and were workshopping sort of the story of the bar, we found more and more things that connected our concept with our aesthetics and with the actual history here. So there was a big restaurant down on the pier called the Polynesia.
Oh yeah.
We loved the Polynesian shield design that was the logo of the Polynesia that was on the front of the menu. We've incorporated that into the bar. But our thinking with this bar's story was this is a tiki bar that was on board a like replica old clipper ship that was built and used as an attraction for the fair that would take people around Puget Sound. But since it was a replica, since it was built around the time of the fair, it had a tiki bar, and it sunk somewhere like in the San Juans and got washed up into some underground cave that preserved it.
Yeah.
And so what we have here is this time capsule from 1962. Well, come to find out, the film, the 1962 version of Mutiny on the Bounty, as a promotion for the movie, they sent out the 3 ships that they had built. I think they were replicas for the filming of the movie. They sent them to various ports around, I think, just the U.S. And one came to Seattle during the fair, and it literally docked at the Polynesia. There's a picture of it. You can see it where it's just right there.
How cool is that?
And so we already had this story, and we're like, oh my God, like that's it.
Yeah.
That is what this bar is. This bar is on that ship. And of course, Mutiny on the Bounty has plenty of connections with Tiki. The Mai Kai famously has an entire bar mostly built from pieces of that the ships and the sets and stuff from that movie. So it just seemed to all just fit into place perfectly. So that's the story of this bar.
Well, we should check it out.
All right.
Let's give our viewers a little tour of your place.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Here we are in our extremely normal living room where one would never suspect that there is magic downstairs. And yet, there is.
It's like MTV Cribs where the
This
magic
is
happens.
exactly like MTV Cribs or Pimp My Basement with Exhibit. We are your exhibit today. Welcome to our home tiki bar, the Meka Leka Hideaway. Actually, you want to...
Yeah, I'll go first.
As we descend in, this is the nautical sort of area, at the pirate ship rope and
the ship
and
lap
these walls, that
took forever to stain.
Amanda prepped all these boards and tied all the knots and all this. I made this little porthole light inspired by the Fugu Lounge folks.
Then we put actual shells, and I sculpted these out of clay, these barnacles.
Yep.
And we made these seaweed out of garbage bags.
Yep.
And spray painted them.
You turn this air duct into kind of a aged brass looking sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we have this piranha that we found, and we just added bamboo and rope onto it.
So that it can't bite anybody.
Sure.
Yeah, keeping it safely behind glass. And over here I commissioned an artist to do some portraits of various pop culture captains. So we have Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Steve Zissou, Captain Carl from Pee-wee's Playhouse, and then we here have Steed and Ed from Our Flag Means Death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over here's the jade tile and bamboo ladder that it took me many months to come up with the plan of how to actually assemble it.
You should say how you got those.
Yeah, I got these tiles from the Trader Vic's website, but it was this weird thing where on my phone, but not on my computer, I was getting access to a commercial site for vendors to be able to order stuff from. And so I was able to order it and they didn't charge shipping or tax. And I don't think I was supposed to get it, but I did. Throughout the whole process of building this, we don't have unlimited funds. We were doing as much of this as we could ourselves. We tried to take a very DIY approach to it. We tried to source things from antique malls and thrift stores and salvage places. And this cabinet, Amanda just saw while browsing online through, what's the name of the place?
Second Use.
Yeah.
In Seattle.
Second Use, they'll take the doors off the hinges of buildings being destroyed and they'll sell you that door
or flooring
and all sorts of old knobs and things, just tons of unique building materials and stuff. And they had this cabinet. It was part of a big set. There was chairs and a table and a small little pull-out bar. But yeah, she saw this and was showing it to me. It's like, this seems really, really cool. And I was dummy and I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a big purchase. I looked it up and I saw a listing for one of these online. It was literally 10 times what we paid for it. But it still was like, oh, this is a lot. And how are we going to get it home and all this? But we went down and checked it out. And I was like, oh yeah, I see this. I get it. So it's as far as we know, it's from the 70s, not the 60s, but we feel like aesthetically it fits well enough with the rest of what we have here that isn't really a problem. We're not going to be purists about literally everything here needs to be no more recent than 1962. But yeah, we added the lighting in it and quickly filled it with bottles and mugs and things. These glasses from the World's Fair, it was something we'd known about, that they existed for a long time. If you go to antique malls and things in this area, you'll see them. They're always pretty expensive. You know, they'll be like $150 for a set.
Or
And
up.
and yeah, it could be more than that. Or you know, you'll just see a few at a time. And so it was one of those things where, like, all right, we have time. We know we want to get this, but we don't need to just rush and pay the maximum price for it just because we find them. Like, we'll find them over and over. It's not like they're common, but you can find them. And I ended up finding them on OfferUp. The listing was just World Fair. Like, it didn't say what kind of item it was or anything. It was just World Fair and a picture of those. It was in Everett, and I like immediately contacted the seller and went up there like within like half an hour of seeing it. And he ended up explaining to me that like it was his grandpa had helped build the Space Needle, and they just had these set of glasses and held on to them, and she gave them to him, but he didn't know what he was going to use them for, so he just figured he'd sell them, and he just asked $50. And so I was like, yes, I will give you $50 for those. Yes, please. And then I brought them home, and Amanda tested them for lead, and they have lead, and so we're not drinking out of them.
Yeah.
So they are for display purposes only, but we quite enjoy them, and felt like if we're going to have World's Fair stuff, we got to have those glasses. The bar, I think, is interesting. We got stories about the bar top and about the bar stools. The bar itself, like the structure of it, I just built myself and reused materials from like the cherry bamboo paneling that we use as like wainscoting along the bottom third. Where really, if you're seeing those lines there, it's not just like to create that 1/3 reference. It's this is a daylight basement, and the top of those is the foundation line, which comes out like 3.5 inches from the wall. So we made coverings for that and put in that paneling. But so I reused that to make the bar itself. But the bar top, we were at another salvage place in Kenmore, Earthwise.
Yes.
Yeah, Earthwise. And we weren't like looking for bar top pieces, but we were just looking. Like, we had talked about Live Edge. We'd talked about, a naval ship door, hatch door thing using that. You know, we talked about a bunch of ideas. But what they had at Earthwise was these pieces of cedar that were very well priced. And we asked them about it, and they explained that these come from a 1,000-year-old cedar tree from the Washington coast that was cut down in the 1970s and just stayed as like rounds, like enormous cuttings for decades, until the owner of Earthwise got a tip about them and arranged to buy them all and then have them planed and turned into these planks. And we just thought that was so cool because of, we wanted to have as many local connections in this bar as possible. And so having this 1,000-year-old wood as our bar top from Washington was just super cool. But why don't you tell them about the stools?
Yeah, I was driving through this neighborhood in Mount Lake Terrace, and this lady was cleaning out her dad's house. And these were just sitting on the side of the street. And I gasped. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have these because they're the perfect color. And there's actually 3 other ones, but some of them were kind of worse for wears. But so these are like
I took them apart and cleaned them all up, and basically any chair that had like a torn seat, we would, if the back part was good, we'd just use that and pair it with a seat that wasn't torn. So we just mixed and matched to get. We actually have 4 good ones, but we got rid of one because of getting this love seat here, just having less space over there. But yeah, we got these for free. They were just sitting out. Anybody wants them, and they're from the early 60s. One thing that I always wanted to have here was a shelf that 2 turntables and a mixer could fit on if we wanted to have DJ nights. Both Amanda and I have had some experience DJing, and it's always been fun. And I've been collecting records since I was 17. I have a pretty extensive collection. And so I built this with a friend. Honestly, my friend in most of the building, but this is just a single sheet of plywood that we used.
Designed it.
I designed.
You drew out and measured.
Yeah, I figured out what the design was going to be to only have to use a single 4x8 wooden sheet to get all the pieces necessary to build this. And then up here, this is our most recent project that we finished that we're really happy about. So I mentioned that I'd scanned the cover of the Polynesia restaurant's menu, and it had this cool Polynesian shield. This essentially is that design. We'd been using it unchanged as like the Instagram logo and as like a
watermark for the menu.
Yeah, I don't know if watermark's the word, but a layer that's a transparent layer in the menu. We've had it in there. We've always wanted to have that connection, and we all along had thought it would be really nice to change it somewhat in order to make a logo for the bar. And we'd thought about paying somebody to paint one, and only really recently, after doing so much woodworking for the bar, that I feel like I had the confidence to try just doing it myself. So that's what we did. We printed out the size that we would want of the original logo, and then just sat down at the kitchen table with some vellum and traced the elements around what we were keeping, and then went back and forth with various designs for what we wanted to update, what the text could be for the logo. The initial thought was that the logo was going to be in this center area. But ultimately what we did is we put the form of a Space Needle there. It kind of has a humanoid sort of feel to it, but what it is a Space Needle. But we wanted it to be minimalist and in the style of the rest of the carving. And then down along here, we have the hand lettered and carved logo for the bar and the year that we created it.
And I hand painted.
Yeah, Amanda did all the painting. Yeah, I carved it with the router, and then the lettering I had to like re-carve with a Dremel to get the details of, and I stained and sealed it, and then she did a couple layers of paint with very very small bristles.
And we tried to get the paint color, like the orangey color of what the original
top of the Space Needle.
Top of the Space Needle.
Yeah,
color.
A lot of people don't know this. The Space Needle originally was orange on top.
So we have this table that has some World's Fair items. We have a whole sheet of Space Needle stamps. We have a ticket book from the Gateway, which was like an amusement park that was at the World's Fair. We have a Century 21 Club membership card. I don't really know what that's for, but it looked cool, so we got it. Oh, and I really like this. This is the natural gas what's it called?
Calendar?
No, zodiac
right
thing, but they're all like natural gas related.
This is one of my favorite things here. This is from a box of like stationery that all the silver lines on there are like embossed. It's like printed on there, and you can feel the lines there.
And they have like a Space Needle one, and
yeah, they have matching envelopes to go with them, and yeah, it's really neat. Over here is where we have most of the World's Fair display stuff. Amanda's curated this table, and she can talk about the stuff in here. I'll just note these 2 records. This one is a more well-known one. There's that orange color that we were talking about that the top of the Space Needle was. And this one I'd never heard about, but I saw it at, we went to an exhibit at the Mohi,
Yes.
the Museum of History and Industry. It's actually
it's a permanent exhibit.
Yeah, it's a flexi disc. If you know about records, it's like paper thin. You can't play them a whole lot of times before they stop working. There's actually a hole right in there. It's like an envelope that has the record in there. I found somebody online I didn't realize I was actually buying 2 copies, but it was very cheap when I found this. A lot cheap. It was on eBay instead. Like on Discogs, it was pretty expensive, and then I found this eBay seller, and when it showed up, there was 2. So we're like, oh, great. So I kept one sealed and in here, and then the other one I've opened up, and I filmed a little video listening to it, and it's like this very like jaunty sort of. Well, now it appears that you have arrived at the World's Fair. What do you see? Oh, over there, it's the gateway where everybody is having a lovely time, and it's sort of narrating the experience of being at the fair, I guess, so you can send your friends this record so they can close their eyes and imagine that they're there. But yeah, it's narrated by Mr. Here from way out there. It's very, very 60s, very, very hokey fun. And this right here is probably my favorite World's Fair thing in the whole bar. This is a sugar packet from the Space Needle restaurant during the fair that was one of the things that our neighbor gave to us.
This glass is the glass that the people that used to originally live here owned. I absolutely love this little dish. I don't even know what it's for. It's not even like...
It's not like an ashtray, but
no,
it's a little plate of some sort.
And we actually have seen at other antique malls, like different plates, the same size, the same company, and they were too expensive, but they were really awesome.
Yeah, so they did different trays or plates for different sections of the fair.
But we absolutely love the matchbook, just the vibrant colors of that.
This I got for you for Christmas.
Yeah.
Down at an antique mall by the pier in downtown Seattle.
Yeah, up here, this is kind of our like shipwreck section, kind of. So we have, this is an extra copy that I had of the Seattle World's Fair little magazine here. But we also have like this teeny tiny World's Fair purse and these, I think they're Space Needle envelopes right there.
Yeah, so this is a section of sort of like, as the ship went underwater and washed up, things got jostled around. And so this is some of the like World's Fair ephemera that would have been on the ship. Right. One of my favorite things about the bar, it may be a little bit less favorite of mine if I was exceedingly tall, as I may be bumping my head into it, but this lamp here is not just a lamp. I don't have a ton of experience building lamps. I built this one. I'd sort of changed that one and turned it into Tiki stuff. But this was the most involved one that I've ever made for sure. And it needed to be because it's actually hiding our projector. And I can't reach all the way up. I always need to get like a step stool, but I have a magnet up there that this little string just holds on to keep it in place, to keep the lid up. But the projector is in there, and the top of it has plenty of room for the heat to dissipate or whatever. But I spent a couple weeks building this structure and figuring out how I was going to do the hinge, how I was going to keep it up. Amanda did extra detail work with these shells and little moss bits. Hot glued that stuff. Yeah, I put the rope on. We had these bamboo hoops that I put in there, and I cut these rings of bamboo, but the larger pieces were hoops that she had for making purses with bamboo handles. So we bought like 20 pairs of those and had them on.
No, it's like 50 or 30 or something. But from China.
Yeah. She's made, yeah, right. It was like right before the tariffs were hitting. We're like, all right, we're going to do a big order of all these bamboo hoop handles. And I realized they'd be perfect for using in this. And in order to light it internally, we needed a way to work around the fact that there's a big projector in there. So I actually used fairy lights. Like there's a clustered chunk of like an amber hued one in the center and then green ones that are more spread out throughout, and they don't heat up. They don't become a problem with the projector. You know, if I had like a single bulb in there, it'd just get blocked by the projector.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of problem solving with making this lamp and figuring out how it would work practically and aesthetically. And if I were to open this door, it's got like a 1/4 inch of clearance. It just barely makes it. So it was quite a project, and I was really happy with how it turned out. Well, this is it. I showed you literally every single thing about the bar, except one secret thing. You'll never guess where it is. But there's a secret thing, and you can only see it if you come here in person.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Meka_Leka_ Hideaway, MEKA Hideaway. We try to post pictures of the processes of our projects, which I just found really helpful when I was learning how to build the stuff myself. So just trying to pay it forward and share, I'm not going to say knowledge, but share documentation to help other folks trying to do some of this same stuff.
We like to watch other people go through their processes too.
Yeah.
To learn new things.
Yeah. You know, we're creative people. We really approach this project and this build as a prompt. We built a canvas. We built a creative prompt that gives us ideas all the time for stuff we can build, stuff that we can add. You know, we know that visual texture is so important, and there's so many more layers that we'd like to add onto this. You know, this bar has only been open. We've only had guests in here for under a year, and we've in that time added on a bunch of stuff, and we'll continue to be adding things. So, yeah, I'm really happy to be able to share it with you. Thanks.
Okay.
Want to support the Tiki with Ray show and look cool doing it at the same time? Then head over to tikiwithray.com and buy yourself a Tiki with Ray shirt. They're only $20. Tony Canepa did the design, and they're screen printed in America.
You're like doing the old game, walk this way. And then you got to do that too. No.